very best at it. Glen Burnie's own Tim Koenig.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Tim Koenig, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome back to Glen Burnie, Maryland. Michael's 8th Avenue Ballroom Boxing. Great to have you with us for boxing action. Larry Michael along with John Saraceno. We're joined at ringside by women's boxing champion Christy Martin. And Christy, when is your next fight? When are we going to see you in the ring again?
Well, we're looking at the end of April, maybe on ABC Wide World of Sports.
Oh, fantastic.
And I'll be headlining my own show.
Christy, before the main event gets underway, when you go from place to place, do people recognize you? Do they say, hey, you're the boxer?
A lot of people at the beginning said, hey, aren't you that woman boxer? But now people are saying, hey, aren't you Christy Martin?
There you go.
So I know we're getting out there.
All right, Christy Martin with us at ringside. We'd like you to stay for this main event, and we'll get your commentary because, hey, maybe after this, you and Saraceno go after it.
No, no.
No, I don't know.
No?
I've heard some bad, wicked stories on Saraceno.
Oh, boy. They're all true, so be careful.
All right, main event in the ring. Let's get the introductions from Pat O'Malley.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. The Maryland State Athletic Commission presents the main event. The Maryland State Athletic Commission Chairman Carl N. Milligan Jr., Commissioners Ben Apperstein, Michael Arrington, Charles P. Brown, and J. Lee Harden. The referee will be Gary Campaneschi. The Executive Director of the State Commission is Patrick Piniella, and ballroom boxing promoters Mike and Scott Wagner and matchmaker Josh Hall and Scott Wagner present this 10-round bout in the junior welterweight division. Let me introduce the fighters. First of all, to my left, fighting out of the blue corner and wearing the black trunks, weighing 141.5 pounds, from Muskegon, Michigan, with a record of 8-15-1, 2 by knockout. Please welcome Ken, the man, Jamerson. To my right, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the silver trunks trimmed in black, weighing 141 pounds, from Tuxedo, Maryland, with a record of 22-2, 9 via the knockout. He's ranked 4th by the North American Boxing Federation and number 8 by the United States Boxing Association. Please welcome Reggie Showtime Green.
Reggie Green, 22-2, and Christy, Reggie Green has knocked on the door at the top of his weight class. He suffered a defeat to Charles Murray, a disappointing defeat, a knockout in the second round back in '95. How long before you think Reggie Green gets back up to the top and has a chance at a world title?
Well, I think Reggie Green is a very confident fighter. He has great people working with him. I think only a few fights, and he'll be ready to knock on the door for a world title.
Where'd you get the nickname Coal Miner's Daughter?
My father was a coal miner, so it kind of fits.
All right, we're ready for our main event. Reggie Showtime Green, and John, he and Ken Jamerson are familiar with each other.
Well, they fought a couple of years ago, and that fight ended in a disputed decision won by Reggie Green over 8 rounds. Very controversial fight. Many people thought that Reggie Green lost that bout.
Now, Jamerson does not have much power, just 2 knockouts in 24 fights thus far.
One thing you notice right away about Jamerson is how dry he is coming into this first round. I wonder if he's warmed up properly.
You look across the ring and you look into the corner of Reggie Green, you see some familiar faces, huh, John?
Well, if you're familiar with Sugar Ray Leonard, you're familiar with Dave Jacobs, one of his very first trainers at Palmer Park, Maryland. Irving Malloy.
Also formerly of the Sugar Ray Leonard camp. Christy, what about the atmosphere here at Michaels and in these type of venues in general? A good place to see fights. How about in the ring? The crowd is right on top of you. It has to be different in the ring than in the big venues.
Personally, I think it's great to be in a smaller place where the crowd is right on top of the ring. You can feel the crowd. You can feel the excitement. When you land a good shot, they're going to get behind you.
Left hand there by Jamerson. The Green caught on the elbow. Did not land as solidly as some people thought in the crowd.
Reggie Green's last fight was on October the 10th of '96. 12th round TKO over Anthony Suggs in Washington, D.C.
Anthony Suggs just returned from Ray Leonard's camp as one of his sparring partners. Been around a long time, fight out of Alexandria, Virginia, in the area.
You're right. Jamerson has not worked up much of a sweat here, but I guess he will in this first round. Huh?
And he's showing a lot of respect here early on for Reggie Green.
It seems as though Reggie Green has been in with much tougher competition lately, so maybe he feels much more confident this time around.
No doubt about it. Reggie Green is ranked. And like I said, John, knocking on the door, and I know it's frustrating for Reggie after getting himself in the position to make a move, to get the setback to Charles Murray, and now have to start over.
Well, that was a big loss for Reggie. They've talked about possibly matching him up with a fellow Washington fighter that we're familiar with, Sharmba Mitchell.
No doubt about it. Good body work by Reggie Green. Jamerson counters with the left. Christy Martin, do you think boxers nowadays neglect body work?
I think so. Everybody wants to get the spectacular knockout, but I'm fortunate that my husband is from the old school, and he teaches me to go to the body, get those hands down, and then go for the knockout.
And knockouts don't happen a lot of times when you go for them. It's almost a product of a residue from all the body work and the other punches you set them up with.
That's the end of round 1. We'll be back after this. Round 2 of our main event underway at Michaels 8th Avenue in Glen Burnie, Maryland. Larry Michael along with John Saraceno with us as well. Women's boxing champion Christy Martin. Reggie Green has certainly the tougher resume than Jamerson. Reggie Green, though, coming into this fight against Jamerson, it was a controversial decision in Reggie Green's favor last time. Any ramifications here, John?
No, I think it'll just make Reggie Green much more determined to show people that indeed he should have been the winner the first time around. He doesn't want to leave any doubt, particularly with the judges this time around.
Christy, you know, as you were around the ring here before this main event, a lot of fans asking you for autographs. Do you feel any special pressure that women's boxing, in many people's minds, is Christy Martin? Now, I don't remember. I know a couple of other women boxers, but I don't think the general public knows anyone but you. Do you feel a special pressure on yourself because of that?
Sure, I feel a lot of pressure that I'm under a microscope each and every time out. I have to win over the crowd. I have to win over these media guys that are looking for me to make a mistake. But it sure is. It's a lot of extra pressure.
Speaking of media guys, this media guy would like to ask you, are you still going to fight for promoter Don King? Has that been worked out yet?
It hasn't been worked out. We have a court date for 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Oh, Reggie Green pushed back by Jamerson. Pure slip there. As their feet got tied up, and Jamerson just pushed Reggie Green down.
Well, Jamerson has been using a lot of side-to-side motion to try and stay away from Reggie Green. Now you see him stepping inside a little bit more, trying to establish some kind of an inside game.
John, Jamerson is 8-15-1, but a very tough guy to look good against.
He's kind of an awkward fighter, and a lot of times records can be somewhat deceiving. He's had a very checkered career thus far, obviously losing 2 fights for every fight that he wins. I mean, most people would look at the record and say, why is he even in the ring with Reggie Green? But boxing, of course, is a matter of styles. And Reggie Green has got to solve the style that he's got in front of him. And he's trying to do it with an attack to the body.
Left hand by Jamerson finding the mark.
But Jamerson really not much of a puncher, and using his arms more than setting down and using torque from his waist and legs. Then again, he's not a very big guy, even for a junior welterweight. Very small legs and not a strong upper body. So he's got to primarily try to make his living by boxing. Now he's on the inside there. He's taking punches, Larry. He doesn't really need to take. First of all, he's not firing away to keep Reggie Green off of him, and he's on the inside making himself a complete target.
Yeah, you know, Christy, it seems like Jamerson is moving into Reggie Green's punching range.
And that's what it's about. It's being in the right range.
I want to thank Christy Martin for joining us here ringside for Ballroom Boxing. Good luck for the rest of your career. We're all behind you, Christy.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me.
All right, back with more from the Ballroom after this. Welcome back to the Ballroom. Michael's 8th Avenue. Larry Michael along with John Saraceno. Round number 3, and Jamerson goes down. And didn't seem like much of a punch, but I think it was. Jamerson is down. Then a punch, and Jamerson will not get up.
And the referee can't figure out what's going on here either. Gary Campanucci. I don't know, I guess he just wanted to take a blow.
Oh, that was a very tight, quick punch by Reggie Green. And that rocked Jamerson. Jamerson had to go down, and the referee couldn't believe it.
And Reggie Green wants to finish off the job right now, Larry. He's really digging to the body and then going upstairs. Look at the look on Reggie Green's face. Oh,
big uppercut.
Great uppercut. Snapped his head back.
Big knot over the right eye of Jamerson. Overhand right by Reggie.
Reggie Green really starting to set down on his punches and find the target. And really, the problem for Jamerson here, he does not have enough of a punch to keep Reggie Green off of him. And when a fighter senses that he has another fighter in front of him who does not have the power to keep him off, he's going to move in for the kill. And that's what you're seeing Reggie Green do here in the 3rd round. He's really turning up the pressure on Jamerson.
Does Reggie Green look like a different fighter here now under the tutelage of Dave Jacobs?
You know, I think it's too early to say. I think you're going to have to see him in a real fight against a real live guy in front of him. I mean, Jamerson is going to try to survive in this fight. I don't know how hard he's going to try to win this fight because I think he realizes he's outgunned.
Jamerson backing away. Reggie Green pursuing. Good body shot. Jamerson was down in the opening seconds of this round. As the fighters came together, Reggie Green snuck a punch in and put Jamerson down.
And you're right, that knot developing right along the right eyebrow and off the forehead of Jamerson.
Now, a knot like that, it's tough. It could have come from a clash of heads.
It definitely could have been from a butt, but it could have been from a punch, too. A lot of times fighters suddenly swell up from a punch that looks fairly harmless.
Well, a knuckle might get through. And,
right.
Now that swelling, if it's taken care of between rounds with the end swell, it might not be a factor. But if they leave it alone, it could close that right eye of Jamerson.
It looks like it's in a fairly innocuous position. And now referee Campanucci is going to warn both fighters about the dirty inside tactics.
Jamerson comes with a punch and a knee that time.
I caught that knee, but not like Reggie Green caught it.
Reggie Green trying the overhand right. Jamerson smothers him, uses a little bit of head in there. Jamerson doing everything he can to try to mix up the fight. See how it looked at the beginning of this round, John, as Jamerson went down. The right hand in there. It was it a low blow? Was it a short right?
No, I think it was a short right hand, and there was a delayed reaction there by Jamerson, but I think it clipped him right on the button.
So the corner of Jamerson not applying the Enswell to that eye, John, and I think that's a big mistake.
Well, they must feel that it's not in a bad position, but you're right. You don't want it to start swelling up even more. At this point, I think they're just trying to get their fighters' attention to keep them in the fight.
Crowd certainly behind Reggie Green here in Glen Burnie.
Well, I've got the fight scored a shutout thus far after 3 rounds. I've got Green ahead 30-27. I don't think that's any surprise to anybody.
Let's see how Ring Magazine's John Scheinman has it scored. John?
Well, John Scheinman's a little surprised. He's got the fight 29-28 for Reggie Green. Interestingly, Gary Campaneschi, the referee, did not rule a knockdown. Even in that last round, you could see even in the slow motion replay that he crossed his hands, said no knockdown. He never counted, and so I didn't give him a 10-8 round. Another thing I wanted to point out, you were talking about the notables in Reggie Green's corner. Well, in Ken Jamerson's corner is former lightweight champion of the world, Kenny Lane, who held the title back in 1960.
All right, John. Good job. Action continues in the ring. A little blood from the nose of Jamerson. Reggie Green on the defensive somewhat here, John. Here he goes, firing the left hand.
Well, Green has chosen this round to backpedal a little bit and maybe try to counter Jamerson. There he tried with the right hand, but he missed.
Jamerson has the height and reach advantage, but really not taking advantage of that advantage.
The 1-2 landed by Reggie Green. And that's when he's doing his best work. He's got to take control of this fight. And you can see Jamerson, the effects of those punches starting to take their toll, Larry.
Combinations from Reggie Green. Upstairs, downstairs, blood streaming from the right nostril of Jamerson.
If Reggie Green would just make a concerted effort right now to begin attacking that body, I think he could probably stop Jamerson. He has just been whacking away at those ribs. And there again, and a lot of times when a fighter gets hit, not even on the waist, but on the leg, it's enough to slow him up if it's a borderline shot.
You can see on the face of Jamerson, he's in pain when he gets hit to the body.
No question.
Oh, downstairs, upstairs. Great combination by Reggie Green.
That's all Reggie has to do. Just keep hitting to the body, and Jamerson will start lowering those hands. And then if he wants to throw a right hand, it's going to be much more effective.
Green has good defensive posture. He keeps his hands up. He's on his toes. Good balance.
Reggie Green has Jamerson right where he wants him. He is dominating this fight.
Combination by Reggie Green. Scoring with the right hand. Goes to the body.
Well, Jamerson's got to start punching. That's the only way he's even going to get Reggie Green to pause slightly. He's not throwing any punches.
For the combination, Reggie Green really digging to the body of Jamerson.
Well, Jamerson may again have that opponent's mentality. He's just trying to survive.
We'll be back with more boxing action right after this. Reggie Green in command here in our main event. Larry Michael with John Saraceno. And John, Reggie Green in that the fourth round, really dug deep to the body of Jamerson. He took a lot of the life out of Jamerson.
I got to believe that's what his corner told him between rounds, because he really made a diligent effort to savagely attack that midsection, and you saw the benefit from it.
Jamerson has not had an answer to the body attack of Reggie Green.
Well, once again, as we stated earlier, he just does not have the power. He does not have the punch to keep Reggie Green off of him. So it becomes a defensive fight, a fight where you see him retreating and maybe trying to sneak a punch here or there in.
Stop punching, break.
He really needs to be busier with the jab. I mean, that would at least give Reggie Green a reason to think twice about rushing in and firing combinations.
Fans are looking for a knockout from Reggie Green.
And you got to know that Reggie Green wants one. That first fight that they had 2 years ago lasted 8 rounds. Reggie would like to put an exclamation point on this fight with a stoppage. But I don't know, at this point, it looks like Jamerson is going to take him the distance.
Long way to go in this fight. Scheduled for 10. This is the 5th round.
The question is, can Jamerson physically withstand this body attack? And at what point does he become so fatigued, a good right hand by Reggie Green, that he can no longer hang in there?
Another combination by Reggie Green. Jamerson's hands beginning to fall by his waist. Reggie Green stepping up the attack here in the 5th round.
And Jamerson tried to throw a left hook out there, but he was so far from the outside, Larry, there was no hope of it landing. He's desperate at this point. And you see Reggie Green also showing he's got some boxing ability too.
Oh, nice uppercut. Sneaks it in the right hand by Reggie Green.
Let's snap Jamerson's head right back. I'll tell you what, you got to wonder how many more sharp punches like Jamerson can withstand.
Reggie Green looking really on top of his game here tonight.
I'd like to see a fight between him and Charmbe Mitchell. Mitchell really depends upon his boxing ability. Reggie Green, more of a boxer puncher, can do a little bit of both.
Now they're taking a point away from Reggie Green. For what? For a headbutt? What's that called? Low blow. Low blow by the referee. And no warnings prior to that taking away of a point.
Well, I don't think it's going to matter in this fight.
Just makes Reggie Green dig down a little deeper.
Exactly. It could actually work against Jamerson.
Reggie Green making Jamerson miss. Point taken away from Reggie Green, but Reggie Green certainly in command of this fight. Back after this. Welcome back to our main event. Reggie Green, 22-2, taking on Ken Jamerson. These two fighters fought each other before. Got to go back in the record of Reggie Green to find it. Back on June the 10th of 1994, an 8-round decision by Reggie Green. Some thought a controversial decision. Some thought that Jamerson won that fight.
We were talking to a lot of people who were at that fight before this bout tonight, and they definitely thought that Jamerson won the bout.
Jamerson is not winning this one. The body shot puts Jamerson down. He loses his mouthpiece. I don't think he's getting up.
Fight's over, Larry.
Reggie Green with a body shot knocks out Jamerson in the 6th round.
Well, we said it earlier. All Reggie Green had to do was attack that body and keep at it. And you got to believe that Dave Jacobs and Irvin Malloy were telling him that in the corner between rounds. This man is ready to go. And he went.
He did go. Good body work by Reggie Green to stop Jamerson. Jamerson just fell flat. Take a look.
You see him avoiding a punch. Reggie Green bending low, being elusive. The right hand deflecting off the arm. Short uppercut. I think you're going to see a left hook to the body.
There it is.
There it is.
So Reggie Green runs his record to 23-2 with 10 knockouts. Let's go to Pat O'Malley for the time.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner by KO at 48 seconds. Rematch. Now give it to me. Give it to me. Of round 6, Reggie Showtime Green.
If I don't knock him out, y'all ain't gotta pay me. If I don't knock him out, y'all ain't.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Maryland State Athletic Commission, Michael's 8th Avenue and Ballroom Boxing, we thank you for supporting professional boxing. See you back here on May the 14th.
All right, the winner with the body shot, Reggie Green. What kind of satisfaction do you get knocking the guy out with the body shot, Reggie?
Oh, I feel good because he's a real slick, awkward guy. He got a former world champion in his corner, and he moves his head good. He's a veteran. He got 23 fights. He's only been stopped like 2 times by the guy I beat, so I knew it was a hard fight because I fought him in '94.
You know, you looked exceptionally sharp in this fight. Everything seemed to work. To what do you attribute your success here tonight?
To my corner. They was telling me everything to do. I didn't follow the plans. I would have got him out there earlier. But they could see, and they was telling me, and I was trying to load up and hit him in the head, but they was telling me to go to the body. And when I went there, it happened.
Well, you look on top of your game. What's next? I know the folks here at Michael's and the folks in the D.C. area say Charmbe Mitchell. What do you think?
I'll fight anybody. As long as they weigh 140, step on that scale like me, it doesn't matter who it is, because I want to entertain the people and I want the good fights.
When did you know you had him in trouble? You had him in trouble from the beginning. He didn't seem to be able to hurt you. He drew a knot up on his head over his eye early in the fight. His nose was bleeding as well. When did you sense that this fight was over?
Well, my corner kept telling me that he was ready to go, just press him, because he was still kind of strong, so I was taking my time. But they were telling me press him, so I just listened to my corner. When they said go at him, then I had to just pick it up and go at him.
Happy corner, Reggie Green victorious here at Michael's 8th Avenue. All right, so Reggie Green victorious. A 6th-round knockout, a body shot, puts Jamerson down. Now, Reggie Green looked on top of his game here tonight. What do you think, John? How long before we see him in a world title fight?
Larry, I think it's going to be a while before we see that process fully develop. I think first he's got to get a fight against a better fighter, maybe a Charmbay Mitchell, which we talked about earlier. Tonight was a good tune-up fight for Reggie Green.
Well, the fans here at Michael's never go home disappointed. Competitive fights, a lot of action. Boy, the electricity in this building is something else.
Yeah, we've seen that time and time again. We had some shaky fights early on, but I think by the end of the night we saw some real good action.
All right, for John Saraceno, this is Larry Michael. Thanks for watching Ballroom Boxing. We'll see you next time, everybody.